Hi, Julia. Anybody else? Can you hear me, Julia? Good. Just wait for a few more ladies. I have no idea what happened. I literally went on to start the video and all of a sudden Facebook said, you're blocked. You can't access your account. I think it's because, um, thank you, Julia. I think it's because, I don't know, my social media manager accesses it and my other assistant accesses it. So it could be that it's a security thing. Either way, I couldn't access. So here we are. I hope the ladies can. I have no way of checking. Julia, if you can check the group and see if everybody's who is or who wants to be here got the link. I have literally no way of checking. Check my email. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Julia. Okay, I'll wait a couple minutes for people to see that. Besma's here. Besma, can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Finally, we have a Zoom call. Last week I asked for it. Can you hear me? Okay, seems not. Dana?
Jeez.
Dana?
Okay. All right, ladies. I don't know if anybody else will be joining. So let's get started. Welcome, Julia, and welcome, Besma, and ladies who are going to be watching the replay. No clue what happened. Facebook just blocked me. I can't access my account right now. Hopefully it'll be fixed. I'll be able to access later. So I'm recording this call. And so as soon as I can, I will upload it to the group so that anybody who missed it can see it, obviously, and catch the replay. I hope everybody's been doing great. I hope you've all had a great week. I've been seeing all the decluttering, all the revelations, all the opportunities for abundance to come through. That's what decluttering does, ladies. It removes, because what is clutter but basically taking up space, creating a negative energy in your home, blocking opportunities for abundance, for wealth, for different things to enter your life. It's all blocked when you have all of that clutter and things are just like stacked on top of each other, or things are in a mess on top of each other. If you feel like there's something you're trying to figure out in your life and you're having a really hard time figuring it out, clear everything and then see how easily you suddenly are able to figure it out. It sounds woohoo, right? But it really isn't. You're going to see how things become simpler for you to figure out. things are going to become easier for you to do. You're going to find like a sudden message or phone call or something good just seemingly comes out of the blue, and it's because you've literally created the space for that to happen. If in the one physical space that you spend almost the most time in has blocked energy, it's very difficult for goodness to find you. It tries to find you energetically. Things are always trying to find you, but there's blocked. They try to get through your messy closet, or they try to get through that drawer. It's blocked. So you need to literally create space, create voids that will then be filled in with good stuff instead of these spaces are blocked by negative energy. So keep decluttering. If you feel like it's not something you're going to be able to do or finish by Sunday, when you get your next module, when we are going to start the liver detox, finally, then I recommend you keep at it systematically, really slowly. Always start with your spaces. So if you have a big vision now that you've started and you feel all the good feelings and you want to do your whole house, but your husband's side of the room is just really just too messy, or his closet is just really too messy, or he doesn't want you to do it, then leave that and make sure that you focused on your things first. The parts of the house, the cupboards, the kitchen that you are continuously interacting with. So focus on your closet, on your bathroom drawer, on the whole kitchen. Obviously, I'm guessing all of you are the ones that are mostly moving around in your kitchens, and leave the other areas where they either don't want you to, or it's just too overwhelming. That's their energy. That's their space. Leave it till the end. If at all, finish your spaces first. And if it's a time issue for you, then I recommend literally doing one drawer a day, one shelf a day. In 1 week, imagine how much you'll have done. Instead of overwhelming yourself with the whole, oh my God, I have to do the whole kitchen, or oh my God, I have to do this entire bookcase, and there's like, 17 shelves on it and little tiny cubicles and 5 drawers. Choose one per day, and you will be incredibly surprised at the end of next week how much will be done, versus trying to allocate time to do one big project if you don't have that time. All right. And always keep track of what's coming up for you in this process in your journal. Do you feel a little bit tired from the process? Does it automatically energize you? Does it make you feel like you want to become more organized as a human being in general? Like, what is this teaching you as you're going through this? Because everything that we're doing is a learning curve. Everything here is a learning curve. You're learning something about yourself by doing every single little exercise that I have set up for you. All right. Basma has a question. Can we get the module access from Friday so we can print and read in the weekend so that by Sunday we can start on time with the to-do? You mean in general, or for this one? Because I guess we could. If you mean in general, yes, we can do that. If you're talking specifically for the detox one, you won't be starting the food on Sunday, if that's what you're worried about. So the food one, the liver detox one, you get the module on Sunday, but we don't actually start the meal plan until Thursday. So it's not like you're going to wake up on Sunday and get your module at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever it is, and then suddenly it's like, oh my God, I have to have the food ready today. No. So you're going to get the module, you're going to have time to read through it, you're going to have time to do your grocery shopping, ask all your questions, all of that, and the actual plan starts on Thursday. So just in case you're all worried about that, we would never start a food plan on the day that you get the plan. It takes time, it takes preparation. In general, we can do it in general, just my experience has been that most people are not going to do it on Friday, on a weekend. You're just not, like waking up on a Friday when at the obviously coming at the end of your week, work, kids, whatever it is, Friday is not going to be the day where you're going to wake up to work generally. But yeah, we can do that. So that's happening next week, your liver detox, what most of you are looking forward to, or what maybe the reason most of you signed up for this program, right, is to get to the liver detox part. So we're going to get to that next week. Everything you've been doing so far is to prepare you mentally and emotionally for what you're going to do next week physically. So the journaling, the mindset reframe exercise, the affirmations, understanding where your triggers are, understanding where your emotional upheaval happens, right? Like And you're always going to be learning, like, like what happened to me at the airport yesterday. You're never done learning. You're never done facing a trigger that is going to take you down to what you've been programmed is how you find comfort, which is food. What the difference is that when these, what should we call them? Incidents happen, like what happened to me yesterday. What you want to happen, let's put it that way, is that it becomes, instead of them happening on a regular basis right now, and for many women and myself included, it was my normal. It was how I functioned. Having an incident like yesterday where I stuffed my face in this sort of blind, it was really blind. Like there's no thinking involved. It's just automated and just like that, which is basically what it looked like. That was how I used to function. And that's how a lot of women function. And it's a wonderful, right, excuse. Like it's a wonderful way to be able to, an easy way to say, right, this is how I'm handling all the stress in my life. Like, this is it. Like, this is the only way I know how to manage it. This is the only way I know how to deal with it. And so you give yourself the freedom or the right, whatever you want it, to do that. And you find comfort in that because, well, I'm making myself feel better. How else am I supposed to manage everything that's happening in my life? Of course, we know now there are many, 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 many ways to manage stress in your life that don't involve food. And ideally, what you want to happen is that those blind incidents, blind rage, really doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't. Like I was thinking yesterday after I got home, like when was the last time that had happened to me? It was in June. And it was similar to this. It was something around my kids. I don't know if some of you don't know. I had a retreat. I took 16 ladies on a retreat to Guna in last June. We were there for 4 days. On the last day, my husband came with me to support me. And on the last day, my kids were at home. My daughters are 25 and 23. And my son is 14. So they were home alone. They're old enough to be on their own. The housekeeper was there. On the last day, and the way the retreat was set up was that every morning we had a yoga session together, then we had breakfast, then we had about 2 to 3 hour coaching sessions. So I had a group coaching session with all the ladies, and then we would go on and do whatever fun activities we had for the rest of the day. So on the fourth day, last day, the phone rings at 5:30 in the morning. And it can never be good news when a phone rings at 5:30 in the morning. My husband picks up, puts it on speakerphone. It's my son crying. And basically he's in pain. Long story short, he'd been in pain, stomach ache for 2 days. He didn't feel like worrying us. He didn't feel like telling anybody, but it had reached a point where he had to tell someone. And his sisters were in the house, but he was sleeping upstairs and they were sleeping downstairs, and he was in so much pain he couldn't get out of bed to go get one of them. It ended up being he had appendicitis. I couldn't leave Guna. He had a surgery during my coaching session. I could not leave. I thought of it. I thought of telling the ladies, I have an emergency. I have to fly to Cairo. I cannot be here. My husband, thank God, sat me down and he's like, I'm leaving now. I'm going to take care of it. This is not what the ladies signed up for. They signed up for this experience with you. Me and you are the same. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there with him. Finish strong and then come to us when you're finished. So basically, I didn't even know, we weren't sure if he was going to have a surgery or not. So I actually went into the coaching session with the ladies, not knowing if my son was going into surgery or not. I checked in the middle. I gave them an assignment to do. So I quickly went and checked my phone, and I found a message from my husband saying, he just went into surgery now. It is appendicitis. So up until that point, I needed to keep it together. I know appendicitis is not serious, right? But appendicitis, when you're not there as a mom, and when it's happening and you're not there to be, and you're not there to see, and the doctors weren't sure, is it appendicitis? Is it not? Like, we know how the medical care here is in Egypt. It's very stressful. But what I had to do was get through this 3-hour coaching session with these ladies who were there to finish strong. Finished, it was amazing. And the trip organizers, bless their hearts, that's why it's really important to have people work with you that you know you can rely on. They had arranged for my husband, literally they changed his flight, they changed everything for him. They couldn't find me a flight early enough. I couldn't get on a flight until 7:30 that night. And then I got to the airport and the flight was delayed for an hour. So you can imagine, as soon as I got on the plane, if you've ever gone between Guna and Cairo, they give you this box of cookies, right? I think it was like 2 sandwiches and like 2 muffins and like 5 cookies. like I opened it and like stuffed my face in a second. Like I had missed the surgery. I couldn't get there on time and I just wanted to go see my son. So what I'm trying to say is you're going to work through the triggers. It's not going I used to do that for anything. Like I used to eat the 3 muffins and the sandwiches and I used to do that for anything. Like I have a bad day, then I do that at the end of the day. I have an argument with my husband, then that's what I do to make myself feel better. Anything was an excuse to do that. So when you work through the triggers and you understand the triggers and you do the thought model and you understand that eating this way doesn't define you. So at the end of the day, even yesterday, like, right, this doesn't define me. This isn't who I am, and there was no guilt around it. But that takes time. It takes quite a bit of time for you to go from doing that a few times a week. I was doing that a few times a week, at least once a month before my period, but definitely a few times a week. From going from that to it's really when there's something that I can't think my way through. Right? Like something's happening to one of my kids. I'm really upset about leaving my daughter. I can't find, like, there's nothing to make me feel better in that moment for real. Like there's no logic there. Then do it. And it's going to make you feel better. It's going to, even if it doesn't make you feel better, it's going to help you get through it until you wake up the next day and then it's over and then it's gone. But that doesn't happen overnight. And it doesn't happen without you being conscious of what's happening. And it doesn't happen when you're still in the cycle of being biochemically addicted, right? So that's why what we're doing next week with the liver detox is that we're going to get you get the biochemical physical addiction, start to get the physical addiction out of you. Because as long as you're consuming these foods, as long as you're consuming the foods that turn into sugar in the body, so the bread, the pasta, the cookies, the cakes, the healthy cereals, whatever it is, that keeps your body in an addiction mode. All of that is processed sugar. So there's a big part of it that's happening now that isn't even your fault. There's a big part of it that your body is so hooked, and sugar is a drug, right? Processed sugar, not the sugar from fruits. Processed sugar is a drug, and it's even more addictive than cocaine. It lights up 8 pleasure centers in your brain. It's a drug. It's hard to come off this drug. It's not impossible, but your body's always going to be asking for the fix. And then add to that the fact that you've associated this drug with basically how you manage your life, which is really what any addiction is, right? Like people who are actually addicted to drugs, or people who smoke, or people who have to have 10 cups of coffee a day, or people who are addicted to pornography, or people who are addicted to social media. Those are all ways that we make ourselves feel better. It's a way to get rid of the discomfort. So you've associated this sugar high with feeling better when you're not feeling good. So it's just about deconstructing the addiction. So what we've started in the past few weeks is to tap into your emotional side, tap into your mental side, understand what's happening around you that are potential triggers that you're not even aware of and you might just take for granted. And then starting next week, we're going to start to get rid of the biochemical physical addiction of sugar. Because once that addiction is gone, it's a lot harder for you to reach for the sugar when you're not well. It takes time. It takes time. I've been doing this for 10 years now. It's only been, I want to say 3 years where I'm triggered and I do that when it's something I really, really have no control over. But the regular day-to-day stuff that used to trigger me all the time, I'm upset, I'm tired, I had an argument, something didn't go well that day, I didn't sleep well, so I treat myself the next morning. All of that's gone. It's gone. But you have to be conscious of it. And it's about learning, unlearning, learning, and relearning. Write that down. It's about unlearning, learning, relearning. You're going to unlearn the old habits. You're going to learn new ones, and you're going to relearn. That means you're going to keep implementing them over and over and over again. It takes a conscious effort. This is not something that you're just going to wake up one day and be like, oh, okay, I'm good now. I don't have to worry about triggers. I don't have to worry about emotional eating. I don't have to worry about, eating foods that I don't really feel like eating, but I feel like I have no other choice because I don't know how else to make myself feel better. Consciously making those decisions, consciously choosing the thoughts. That's what the thought model is all about. It's about you consciously choosing how you want to think and feel about something instead of just being on autopilot. where whatever thought happens to be running through your mind, you just follow it, right or wrong, you just go with it. It takes the daily practice. It takes the journaling. It takes you getting into your journal and finding that resistance to something that you want to write down, because it's you're digging deep and you're getting to something, you're getting to a breakthrough, and you find resistance around that and you don't want to write about it. That's where you're going to find the gold. And you're going to come up with all sorts of reasons why you don't want to do it. I'm tired. I have writer's block. Besma, somebody might read it. Nobody's going to read it, Besma. Put a lock on it, hide it where nobody's going to find it. It's the fear of like, right, what have I actually been suppressing? What have I actually been using food potentially to suppress? So I don't have to understand it. So I don't have to deal with it. So I don't have to process it. But now I have to do this journal and there's like nowhere to hide. It's just you and your journal. So let it come out. You need to process it. There is not a single feeling that is bad or negative. Every single feeling serves a purpose, and you need to understand your feelings. You need to understand where they're coming from, because your feelings are based on the things that you're thinking, and your feelings are, for so many women, they're what's driving your eating habits. I'm happy, I'm great, when everything's wonderful, I'm in control of my life, then I'm not going to eat the bad food. But my life is a mess, I'm depressed, I'm tired, I'm so busy, I'm overwhelmed, I have so much to do, I don't have time, what am I going to do? What are the feelings? I mean, those are all feelings that are thoughts and feelings that are going to take you down to right. There's no other solution for me except to make myself feel better by give me the cakes and the cookies and the chips or whatever it is for you, chocolate. So awareness is key. That's your first step. That's what you're doing. Next week, you're going to be introduced to a different kind of awareness. You're going to see what your body actually feels like without the sugar. So that you are going to go through a learning curve where your body's going to feel the detoxing effects, right? Your body's going to go through the process where you're going to take away what it likes, and you're going to give it what you think it doesn't want, what you think you definitely don't want. And there's going to be a learning curve there where you're going to feel the physical discomfort, where you might feel extra tired, extra irritable. You might get aches and pains. You might feel like you need to sleep. You might get headaches. It doesn't mean that you're actually sick, and it doesn't mean that there's going to be actually something wrong with you. It's how the body gets rid of toxins. So I don't know if you can tell. I woke up. You can't tell. It's horrible. Complete congestion after what I ate yesterday. That's how the body, mucus is how your body collects toxins and then gets the toxins out of your body. I also woke up last night with wave after wave after wave of night sweats when I don't get night sweats. So the body starts to work with you, and it's continuously going to give you the signs that it's working with you. So even though I'm not happy that I had the night sweats, and even though I'm not happy that I'm congested, I'm also grateful that my body can show me these signs, that I've worked with my body long enough and in such a way that I'm not surprised that I got the night sweats. I woke up with a clogged nose and like phlegm in my throat. Well, yeah, that's going to happen when you eat, I don't know how many pieces of focaccia that I had yesterday and a whole bunch of cookies. And I also had a coffee made with milk, like regular milk. I just realized I didn't tell you guys all this. I had a coffee made with milk, like a whole thing, cappuccino with milk, and I don't know, maybe 10, 15 little cookies that went with it, plus all the bread. So I know why my body's going to, that's how the body gets rid of toxins at any time. Anytime you get sick, anytime somebody has a cold or a flu or whatever we're programmed to believe is an illness, is just the body getting rid of toxins. So that's what my body's doing today. I have a horrible headache. I have this phlegm that's going to have to make its way out. I feel tired. I feel groggy. I had night sweats all night. And that's how my body's saying, all right, that's what you did, but there's a consequence to what you did. And I'm not making myself wrong for that. And I'm not letting that define me. And there's no guilt. On the contrary, like I said, I'm grateful that my body can show me that when I do something that is not the best thing for my body's going to get rid of it. It's going to show me how it's going to get rid of it. And it's going to remind me that this is what it feels like when you go and eat 5 kilos of focaccia, right? And so it could be a learning curve for me now. So maybe the next time I drop my daughter off or the next time I leave one of my kids, it won't be so bad. maybe a little bit less. Maybe I won't eat as much. Maybe I won't have, maybe I'll have one instead of two. I'm going to remind myself of this. So it's not this sort of black and white thing. You're continuously in flux. You're a human being. You're going to learn some things, you're going to master some things, but because we're continuously evolving, you're always going to meet things that you haven't quite mastered yet. And you're going to go through another learning curve to get to that next level that you need to get to. All right. Yeah. How do we control the binge eating while PMSing or binge eating in general? So I just talked about that. So it's two things. It's about understanding with the trigger, and then it's getting rid of the addiction. You're not going to binge during PMS if at least we're working at an 80-90% removal of addiction. You just won't. And because PMS is very much about estrogen dominance, and PMS is very much about reaching for comfort foods, and it's very much about a dip in magnesium, it's about replenishing the deficiency. So when you take out the things that keep you addicted and you replenish the deficiency, you won't need to binge eat, because there's nothing for you to binge eat on, because you're no longer addicted to the things that you want to binge eat, if that makes sense. All right. Besma, I have tears in my eyes now. Is that about what, the Guna story? That was, yeah. I mean, yeah, it wasn't cool. Like for a mom not to be there when her child is having surgery, but it all worked out in the end, right? So alhamdulillah, everything was good. Anybody have questions for me today about finalizing your decluttering, about your ideal day, right? Creating the kind of day that you want to live, creating your schedule instead of having where you are in charge of your day, instead of having the day run you. This is also key. So creating an ideal day for every single day of the week is how you end up with a week that serves you, how you end up with a month that serves you, how you end up with a year that serves you, and where you are, again, very conscious of how you're spending all your time, where you're actually being productive versus just being busy. Because most of the time we're just busy, running around, this errand, doing this, housework, kids, work, phone calls, Facebook, whatever it is. And you find like 4 hours have passed by, but have you actually been productive or just busy? So really important, for you to identify where you're being busy versus productive. And you get to create your life every single day. There are some things you might not be able to change, like what time your kids go to school, what time they come back from school, or what time you have to be at work, or what time you come back from work. Everything else around those, you have complete freedom to create the life you want to create. So check and see, how many hours do I actually spend on social media? How many hours do I actually spend on Netflix every single day? When I say that I don't have time to make healthy food, I don't have time to be in the kitchen, I don't have time to work out. Well, take stock of your time. That's why we have the ideal days, what it actually looks like now and what you want it to look like. So we think that we understand our time and we're managing our time, but when you actually write it down and tally it up, like add up the number of hours where you're actually running around doing something that maybe somebody else could be doing for you. Or I know something that used to take up a lot of time for me was grocery shopping in person. As soon as I started doing it online and getting things delivered, that saved me 2 hours. Netflix, there have been days I have been on Netflix for 4 hours, but oh my God, I didn't have time to do something else. And you forget because you get sucked into it. It doesn't seem like it's that long, but you need to keep track of it. It's not going to change unless you're keeping track of it and unless you actually are modifying that behavior, again, consciously. Julia. Bless your husband. I can't open the attachments to the email with samples. Oh, okay. Still open. Yeah, I was just going to say, Julia, can you try off, not a phone? Can you try it off a computer? And then let me know. Yeah, because I think that might be the problem. Online shopping is great, right? Or if you can like do things like if you're gonna like Julia was saying, Netflix while ironing. Well, okay, If you're going to be ironing, then entertain yourself at the same time, or watch Netflix while you chop vegetables or while you cook or something. But if you were to look at, and this can be a serious wake-up call, if you were to look at over the course of a month, how many hours you spent on Netflix or just watching TV or just scrolling on your phone on Instagram, you're going to be shocked at the amount of time that you've wasted. We're all guilty of it. The difference now is you're going to be conscious of it and you're going to change it, and suddenly you're going to find time for your new passion, for your hobby, to study that course, to switch the career, to focus on your new career or your new business. I know a lot of you are having this where you are in transition right now, or you're starting new, or you want to start something new, or you're studying for something new. That's how you're going to make time. You're going to look at where your gaps are, and you're going to create a day that works for you. All right. And share those on the group also, your ideal days. Anybody else have a question for me or comment for me today? Anybody? Aya, Ranya's here. Julia, Basma. That's not a cold. That's not me getting sick. That's not, oh my gosh, is it COVID? That's my body getting rid of the toxins that I ingested and basically drowned myself in yesterday. It's automatic. When you clean your body out, you're going to see the reactions are literally overnight automatic. I also got, you can't see it, I got a little tiny pimple right there. All right, ladies, I'm not seeing any other questions for me or any other comments. Those of you who are going to watch the replay, you know what to do. Post the comments and questions in, because this will be posted in the group. Post them at the bottom of the post, and share with me your ideal day. Share with me any breakthroughs that you get from your journaling. At the end of each module, you know, you have that homework section, and you also have a section where basically share with the group, or what would you there's a sharing part in there. Answer those questions and share that on the group as well, right? The more that you can all share, the more that you can learn from each other, the more that you can inspire each other, because not everybody is outgoing as everybody else, let's put it that way, right? So you need those of you who are a little bit more outgoing, those of you who are a little bit more comfortable in sharing your breakthroughs, please do that, because you're going to help bring the quieter ones out of their shells a little bit more. You're going to help to inspire them. You're going to make them feel like they're not alone. Because so much of what all of you are experiencing is exactly the same or very similar. So you aren't alone. Remember, this is the group where it's completely safe space for you to share or vent or share a breakthrough, you know, like Aya did, absolutely stunning and beautiful, going to her wedding. That's the place to do it. So take advantage of this community and take advantage of the ladies in this group. All right. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Julia. All right, ladies, have a great week, and I will see you all again, same time, same place next week. Bye, ladies.